Opposed? Thank you. Next item, business committee reports. Any committee report? Commissioner Simpkins.
Just one, and also tonight, mention Hunter Eskel, anybody don't have names, we'll stop by and talk to him, and he's passed you out a little folder here of what's going on and what he intends to do. So I invite you to speak with him before you get gone tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And I also want to congratulate him on his choice of photos. There's a good looking man on there. And thank you, Hunter. Your future is really good. So, any other committees report? Hearing none. Next order of business appointments. The first is Planning Commission appointments. Reappoint Mr. Mac Pilkington and Ms. Christy Sullivan. Appoint Ms. Tina Ferris and Mr. Sam Gregory. Open floor for motion. Motion by Commissioner Petty, second by Commissioner McElwain. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next appointment is the E911 board, a vacancy for Mr. Scott England. We brought forward 2 weeks ago, Mr. Shane Steely to be placed on that. Open floor for motion. Motion by Commissioner Spicer, second by Commissioner Beatty. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next appointment was Water Authority of Dickson County. Mr. Gerald James is up for reappointment. We brought his name to you 2 weeks ago on that. I'll open the floor for motion. Motion by Commissioner Ellis, second by Commissioner Hayes. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next appointment, Dickson County Jail Disciplinary Board brought by the Sheriff's Department. Those to be put on that board, Ms. Cynthia Geis, Deputy Derek Webster, Sergeant Kelly Street, Deputy Jeff Boatner, and Deputy Ricky Deloach. Open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Eby, second by Commissioner McElwain. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next item of business is resolutions. The first is quarterly financial reports. Dr. Wheats got those to you 2 weeks ago. He's not available to be with us tonight. They're having a regional board meeting that he's attending. Does anybody have any questions on these documents he gave you? Hearing none, I'll open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner McElwain, second by Commissioner Hayes. No questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 2 is the Dixon Electric Internet Infrastructure. This is what Dixon Electric asked for is a resolution in support of them running broadband throughout Dickson County. There's no commitment other than we're showing our support. Open floor for motion. Motion by Commissioner Spicer, second by Commissioner Buckner. Question? Yes. Mr. Gillespie of the electric department told me in my office about 3 weeks ago that they would have some homes hooked up by the end of this calendar year. It's going to, so probably like a 3-year project. I think in total was 4, but we don't really have that definition because any plans I've gotten from them has been verbal. I've not seen a business plan, but hopefully they just recently got all their approvals. One of the biggest was through TVA because that's who they buy the power from. And then the other was the controller of the Treasury. So we'll seek out their business plan and maybe just get Mr. Gillespie over here next month or the next month and let him explain it to us. Thank you. Good question. We have a proper motion, a second. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 3 is the mitigation plan approval that Mr. Fisher brought to you 2 weeks ago. Mr. Fisher's here tonight. Is there any questions for him on this? Mr. Fisher, this is a 5-year deal, so we'll be back on 5 years to knock this out again. All right, thank you. Open floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Petty, second by Commissioner Eby. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 4 is the mitigation plan approval that Mr. Fisher brought to you 2 weeks ago. Mr. Fisher is here tonight. Is there any questions for him on this? Mr. Fisher, this is a 5-year deal, so we'll be back on 5 years to knock this out again. All right, thank you. Open floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Petty, second by Commissioner Eby. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next item is Homeland Security Grant. Mr. Fisher brought this to you. It was for various equipment and we could purchase for $17,000, $17,839, and it's a 100% grant, requires no local match. Best kind. Motion by Commissioner Spicer, second by Commissioner, I think it's Commissioner McElwain. Thank you. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next item is what Ms. Pam Lewis bought 2 weeks ago, TNCIS web software for circuit court. It makes it available for attorneys, and public can look some items up without having to come do research on their own. That way, her idea behind that was it was less time consuming for her employees and a way to get this done. The amendment for this is going to be roughly $5,000 to get this done. So it's a project well worth this. Open the floor for motions. Motion by Commissioner Evie, second by Commissioner Buckner. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next item is road improvement contract. This is a resolution to authorize the county to enter into the agreement with Eubank Asphalt and Paving and Sealing Incorporated to make improvements to county road. This is the improvements to the present 2 mile road. This is what we discussed, and it came through the lawsuit settlement where this is being paid for by the company, but the road building will go through us, and we went through our normal county purchasing procedures, and Eubank was the lowest bid on that property. We will have that managed, but it's not taking county funds to build this road. I want to point that out again. Excuse me. The city portion is not complete yet. That portion is going through a state industrial access contract through TDOT, and that's a longer process, but that's due to be bid out, but I'm not sure exactly when. Thank you. Well, thank you. Motion by Commissioner Simpkins, have a second by Commissioner Beatty. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Next item is that goes along with this resolution, authorize the county into a contract for certain third-party administration services related to the improvements of county road. This is what we talked about with TW Frierson. We need a representative to monitor that road building for the county's benefit. So that's what we put together a contract with TW Frierson so they can make sure that that road is being built to our specifications. Open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Petty, second by Commissioner Hayes. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 8 is Fanny Branch and Nancy Shaw Road stop sign that was brought by Commissioner McElwain. If you talk, is Highway and Sheriff's Department good with this? Okay, good. Then that's a motion by Commissioner McElwain. I have a second. Second by Commissioner Simpkins. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. We have one item to bring up, and what we had in our executive session discussion of a lawsuit to be settled. I need to ask for this one item. I need a motion to suspend the rules so we can take that up. Motion by Commissioner Evie, second by Commissioner Buckner. All in favor of suspension of rules, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. The rules are suspended. This resolution, resolution authorized the county mayor to settle lawsuit. I want to get Mr. Reagan, thank you, whatever his name is. We'll let him maybe give you a brief summary of what that is.
Yeah, so you may recall our discussion. The county has been in a lawsuit for some time. It was an employee of the Dickson County Sheriff's Office. It related to whether that employee had made a request to be a part of the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System. And so there was a dispute over whether or not that employee should have been enrolled in that system. And so through mediation, the parties have reached an agreement subject to this body approving it, where the county would pay $40,000 towards that. And the county's insurance will pay $10,000 for a total of $50,000 to settle it. And again, I think as we've discussed with you, this case is probably unique in that the issue really centered around notice and whether or not that employee should have been enrolled. I think it is probably a lone case that probably doesn't have another one out there that would look like this. So our recommendation to you, as we've already shared with you, is that we settle on these terms. The county is presently represented by Mark Nolan out of Clarksville, who is hired by the county's insurance company. We've spoken with him. He was a part of the mediation, and he also believes that these are terms that the county should accept and settle for. So that's what we present to you. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
One thing I'd also like to point out on that is the county portion of $40,000. That money, as I told you in executive session, is basically already there. We overfund our retirement account. So it's more of a matter of moving funds from one pot to the other on that. The insurance company picked up the other $10,000 because we felt that that was not what we would owe, and they agreed to do that to reach the settlement. Open the floor for any questions before we go to a motion. Any questions or discussion? Question called for without objection. No objection. Need a motion, a second to do that. Motion by Commissioner Dawson, have a second. Second by Commissioner Buckner. Any other questions, comments? That spoke volumes right there. Thank you. No other questions, comments. All in favor, vote by saying aye. Opposed? Thank you. That's the only thing. We're back into regular order now. Next is approval of notaries. Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Heather Allen, Miranda Anderson, Amanda Blair, Emma Bruce, Tina Carr, Veronica Edmondson, Thomas M. Fuson III, Aaron Gonzalez, Brenda Groves, Megan Hodges, Brooke Irwin, Joyce Lawson, Alan Miller, Jamie Mitchell, Lori Sullivan, John Tucker III, and Terry Vaughn.
Open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Buckner, second by Commissioner Spicer. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Any announcements? Yes, sir. I did. We didn't vote on that? Yeah, that was three-way stop sign. It's okay. You voted unanimously for it. You were one of them. It's okay. Happens to me all day.
Timeline on our fire truck or volunteer fire.
Mr. Fisher is in the office.
Mr. Fisher's here.
Mr. Fisher.
As of right now, everything's still on track. They give us a timetable of 15 months from the month that we order.
But the good news is 15 months. I can't do it with my shoes on. It kind of sound like March of next year, a year from now. But yeah, thank you for sharing us something. Give us good news. You know, we found a lot of that. I'll get you, Commissioner. We found a lot of that. You know, we've ordered police vehicles when we amended the budget to move up next year's purchase on that, an ambulance, which and then, but we're still having trouble. But one of them is a service truck. There's just not vehicles available right now. So the good news was, I'm glad we did it now, back in January or whenever we did this, versus waiting when we're competing against every government entity in the world come to July. So appreciate y'all allowing that to happen. Commissioner Ellis.
What's the timeline on the new farmers market?
That is a good question. Mr. Corlew I'm due, I think, meet with him tomorrow to go over that. He had a basic floor plan drawing of it. we need to have that tweaked a little bit. We're going to meet with the city shortly thereafter, since they're our partners on that. And then hopefully in my world, we can start bidding out by the end of March, 1st of April, whenever we get it in the newspaper and solicit bids for that. So again, steel supplies, that's going to be the biggest bugaboo on that, but the design's pretty basic, so it's not very complicated. So once we get the items in, get it ordered, it shouldn't take long to put it up. Yes, sir, Ms. Petty.
Are the food trucks involved? Are they? No, that's.
We've avoided the hat until you showed up. You people from the city came over here.
Is there going to be a designated, is there writing the rules and regulations for how it's going to play out? And I didn't know if it was going to be, that was going to be the home for food trucks at farmers market, or if it was, there would be space for them to come in periodically or something like that.
That was a loose discussion we were having in the city of Dixon, because many of you may know that's been an issue in all the cities. But there's legislation for the state legislature. One of our representatives, Michael Curcio, is carrying that, where it eliminates any requirements statewide for food trucks that they can be put on anyone's private property. The cities and counties should still have domain over public properties, like on the side of streets and roads. But it seems that from discussion I had with Mr. Curcio last week, I think last Friday night, that looks like it's moving full speed on that. So it may become a moot point for all local governments on managing that. And I also saw it on Facebook, so it has to be true. So any other? Yes, sir, Commissioner Dawson.
I got a couple things to ask you, maybe don't. Mr. Ferguson, what does that cost us that we paying in for that?
I'm sorry for the.
Mr. Ferguson, take care of the paving road. Was that in the contract?
It's going to be paid for by the contract that's building it. So we're reimbursed. We contract with them, where their obligations to us, but we won't spend county money to fund that. I'm sorry, I should have pointed that out.
Okay, and then this may be a great question for I was asked. Who is actually has the control over the planning committee? I mean, as far as term wise and their decisions and what they do in the county?
The body is, I bring a recommendation, which y'all appoint, you ratify the recommendation or deny it. They operate under the rules set forth by the state through Tennessee Code Annotated and any local rules they may have. So again, to what degree we do, there's some regulations that they have the authority to do when it comes to rezonings, larger type issues that comes to this body.
Yeah, how come are they bonded like we?
I'm not sure how that works. And
well, then how could they have that authority, or that much authority, that they're not even bonded? They're just appointed. And who actually oversees them? I mean, does this body oversee them, or do you, the mayor? Who?
They're not overseen by the body other than the appointment. They have their own authority through state law to make their decisions as they see fit. Again, your authority comes in at appointment time, or if they make a decision that has to be ratified by this body. They're on their own terms on that. And I think they're on 3-year terms, 4-year terms. I knew it was one of those 4-year terms.
Okay, could we change that where they how many years they are in?
I can look into it. I don't know. We can look it up and have our attorney look up and see where it's codified. Maybe statutory said through Tennessee Code Annotated. We can check. Or you want longer or shorter terms?
No, I'm just asking what this is what somebody asked me. And then, and to what accountability do they held by the law? I mean, as far as, what they do, because I mean, they got a lot of power in the county. They ought to be, subject to something. I mean, that's pretty weak, just saying that, you're foreman, do whatever.
Well, I guess you can consider it weak, but some may think that about all of us that get elected every 4 years. So
well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, anyway.
I understand. No, it's a valid question, but again, as y'all know, through Tennessee Code, you really have all the ultimate authority by the majority of this legislative body. So When
You
the,
just said we didn't have the body over them. I mean, we didn't have the, we had the act, we had the final say over the actions they done, but not for what they did.
well, I think, and again, I do a class, County Government 101. I'm having the second one tomorrow night, Thursday night. Everybody's welcome to come to that. It's free. And some people think it's interesting. But back to the point, you're a legislative body, so you legislate, you don't manage. You set policies and resolutions to give guidance to these boards, but then we have management in place, or that board has an authority just as y'all have an authority on that. So I think the point being that planning commission, and I think this speaking widely, and I think Mr. Petty can confirm this about on the city of Dixon, they need a level of autonomy to where positions we may take may be political. They're one step removed where they can not necessarily take care of a political need, but take care of the greater good. And I think that's the cushion that's given in that, at least in my opinion.
Well, the reason people ask me, see, all most of the officials now, everybody's bonded by law and all their planning committees, just, they're out there on their own.
Understand? No, and we'll look it up and get you the Tennessee Code annotated, and we'll send that to all of y'all. So in state law, because we're operated this county under general law, we're not a chartered county and we're not a metropolitan government. So all of our laws are those green law books that we operate on under general law. So we can find you an answer on that.
They'd be operated, they'd be listed just like a sheriff department would be, the Board of Education. I mean, it would be just another entity that's recognized by the, state.
Every little group.
But every one of them you're talking about, everybody's gonna be bonded, we're bonded.
Well, they're actually, the term bonding, if they do something egregious or whatever, the county has the liability insurance. Take care of damages. That's like the city does.
Well, when I was talking about these people, they said they had so much control of what went on as far as people's lives in the county. And that was the question. So I related.
Thank you. We'll get you some answers on that to all of y'all. Good question. Yes, Commissioner Ellis.
Like the planning commission and board of zoning appeals, they're required to take training every year too. So I didn't know if everybody knew that.
That's true. And many of you commissioners have to take training now. They all were elected in the 18 election. And then the rest of you, I think, are grandfathered in for another term. And then y'all have to be retrained through County Technical Assistance Service will do training for y'all on that. Well, a lot of times they will zoom you in on that. We moved on into the 21st century now, so we can do that. Someone, Commissioner Eby.
Yeah, I getting some kind of baseline grant for what the zoning for areas, so we can all be on the same sheet, understand what zoning means, what, I just don't think we're all coming from the same set of understanding of how that operates. And I think, for us to make decisions, we all kind of, I think, need to be on some kind of baseline, so we understand.
We can,
Something like that.
yeah, I talked to Mr. Darnell about that. There's books that are available down there. We can do that, but I'm in process have him summarize something because the volume of understanding everything in those books is, but you need a working answer, what an R1, R2, and R3 is. So thank you. Any other questions? Y'all are lively tonight. It's sort of the rain. It's not a full moon. We're past that. So there's something going on.
I think we're okay on birthdays.
We do. We,
He has the birthday this week, so he's afraid it's gonna get sung to.
oh, that's right. He pulled a little stunt on us, didn't he? All right.
Just so y'all know, he was laughing about it in August.
Oh, so
He
he,
thought it was my birthday.
Yeah.
oh,
He missed mine. Well, we definitely have two. Maybe possibly a third one, because I can't find the list.
well, this is a,
Maybe it's on one of them, so, I mean, that next month. I don't have-
We'll find out. This is a public meeting, so what we do here is public, but I hope everyone uses discretion not to let Mr. Burgess know we're going to ambush him next time he's there. So just, so yeah, he deserves that. Any other announcements? Hearing none, the final announcement will be the next regular session meeting will be on Monday, March 21st at 2022 at 7 p.m. in the Beaufort L. Booty Reed Junior County Commission Chamber of the Dickson County Administration Building, Forecourt Square, Charlotte, Tennessee. Have a motion second adjourn. Thank you.